We're going.
Okay, guys, I'm going to do a few more little details on this little landscape painting that we're working on. But let me make a few comments about plein air landscape painting. Most plein air landscape painters don't finish the painting outside. They'll try to capture the essence of it. Like, for instance, the total running time on what I did here was 20 minutes, or less than 20 minutes. So you really don't have that much time if the light is really changing on you. You want to capture the essence of what you're looking at and really the color pattern. What photographs, if you do try to work from photographs and landscape painting and don't do color studies like these, what will happen is that the photograph will lie to you. That is, the darks in the photograph are always much darker than what's really there, and the lights are always much lighter, unless you're a really good photographer. And you don't see the colors. There's always colors in the shadows. There's always blues and purples in the shadows, and even if you look at snow in the winter, there's always blues, purples, oranges, and yellows in the snow. So nothing is ever really white or black, although some photographs will actually give you the idea that certain areas are white or black.
Now, is that reflecting light? Is that like the greens?
And you're always going to get, in shadow areas, say near trees, you're always going to get either blue or purplish reflections, and that's from the sky. It depends on where the sun is, whether you have north light or south light, depending on how warm or how cool those reflections are. So a lot of it depends on the position of the sun in the sky. So again, you're basically bound to work extremely quickly. Because if the sun is changing, if you're working under, north light is a constant cool light coming from the north, but if you're working on anything coming from the south, it's going to be changing, and the shadow pattern is going to be changing in time. Very rapidly, particularly at the beginning or end of the day. You really don't want to paint at noontime when the sun is directly overhead. That's the most boring time to paint. Usually either early in the morning near sunrise or late at night, or late in the afternoon near sunset. Okay, usually plein air painters will come back in, they'll use these studies, they'll either use it to build up a bigger, more detailed painting, and they'll use a study with photographs so they know how to correct the photograph, or they'll leave the thing alone and just basically sell it as is, or they may go in and do what I'm going to do now, because this has been a week since I did this, and they'll punch it up a little bit. So I'm going to punch this up a little bit. I looked at it, and what I don't like is the trees are too symmetric. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a little orange, which I'm making from cadmium red light and cadmium yellow medium, and I'm just going to sort of make this a little more irregular. Okay, I'm going to add something that's actually in the original thing that I was working on, make it a little more irregular. Okay, then I'm going to sort of clean my brush off, add some red stuff, sort of scrubby stuff here and here. So I want to repeat this, well, it's really an orange, and I want to repeat it a little bit right here. Okay, and I want to go in and again, I want to clean my brush off a little bit, more red here and here. Okay, and I want to go back in and I want to punch up some of the yellows. And I'm going to do that with yellow, ochre, and white. And I'm going to use the same brush that I used the reds on. I'm just going to go in, get some yellow ochre, some medium, some manganese, some white. Okay, now I essentially want to basically establish some of these lighter areas in the middle ground back here. You can actually see that in the original painting. And again, I'm going to put a few scrub brushes, scrubby things in front. So a little more detail to that. A little more. Okay. A little more, just a little more. Again, remember, as you go back, things get lighter in value because of atmospheric perspective, and you have less color. It gets grayer. Okay. I want to dull down my sky just a little bit by glazing in some of this yellow. Again, I'm trying to connect the painting. And I'm just going to put a few more scrubby things in there. I'm going to pretty much call this done. Okay, try and just put a few more scrubby. Now you could use a smaller brush for this, or even use a fan brush, which I don't recommend, but people actually put in grasses with a fan brush, because they could put in all the grasses at once.
But it's awfully regular.
Yeah, that's the problem. You don't want anything that's too regular. You
So
don't want it to look contrived, that's all.
So if I make an electric device, which is a fan brush where the bristles are always moving, I can sell it to you. Because then it'll be random every time with every stroke.
No, I still wouldn't buy it. Because you made it, Nick, that's why I wouldn't buy it.
Oh.
So
I was about to tell you, give me one. I was about to say, give me one logical reason why, and you did. So, so I can't argue with that.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to punch up some of my darks again. I'm going to go in and get some dioxine purple. I'm going to get some burnt sienna. It gives me kind of nice dark, a little bit of ultramarine blue. And again, I just want to establish some of these darks here near the shoreline. Again, I just want this to come forward a little bit.
You said that was dioxine purple and what? Black?
Dioxine purple and burnt sienna. And a little bit of ultramarine blue. And again, I'm just trying to create some depth by darkening. Again, like I said, things get darker as you come up front. Okay, because of atmospheric perspective. I'm trying to get a little bit of this in here. And I'm really backing off back here, so I'm just really muting that dark. Okay, so we're almost there. And I mean, I could just keep working back and forth on this indefinitely, but okay. And I'm just going to clean my brush with those darks. Again, I want a little more variety in these greens, and that means putting less green in. Okay. And do one final thing, and that's I'm going to go back and reestablish the mountains. If you look at the original one, I have sort of purplish mountains back there because of the atmospheric perspective. I kind of lost that. So I'm going to go back in with a little dioxine purple and white, and I'm going to touch it with just a touch of yellow ochre to dull it down. Okay, and I'm going to put those mountains back in. Okay, and then I'm going to hit the clouds again with a little white just to basically mute the mountains a little more. And again, I'm going to just do a little more on the stream. I'll pull some of this down, some of the reflections down. Again, I want to clean my brush. Again, I want to mute some of this green down. Okay, we'll call that done.